speaker at this session, Jean-Claude Michaca, who is Director for Wireless Internet Solutions at Oracle Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And he will discuss how the structure and characteristics of modern IT and eMobility tools affect business processes. Please, Mr. Michaca.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to start by asking you a question. Who here in the audience has ever been to the Sinai Desert? Can you please raise your hand? A couple of hands out there. So for those who don't know where it is, this is this piece of territory between Israel and Egypt. And actually, it belongs to Egyptian territory now. And if you remember your history, this is a picture. In the middle of the Sinai, there's a mount called Mount Sinai. And this is believed where actually Moses received the 10 Commandments from God. And don't worry, I'm not going to question you today about those 10 Commandments because I don't remember them myself. But what I did, I looked at those 10 Commandments, and they have lasted for so long. I mean, they have lasted for something like 4,000, 5,000 years. And our civilization has gone through so many changes of empires, of kingdoms, wars, the move from a agriculture-based economy to an industrial-based economy, to now to a knowledge-based economy like we heard it yesterday. And I said, yeah, maybe it is the time, in the e-business time, maybe it's the time for a new version. Maybe it's time for the 10 Commandments V2. So what I have done is, I've gone to the heart of the Silicon Valley and went to visit one of the most prestigious company out there. I'm not going to say the most prestigious, else Anders is going to be mad at me. So this is the headquarters of Oracle. And I talked to the CEO of Oracle, who's known to be one of the captain of this industry. And please, ladies and gentlemen, any parallel between him and God are forbidden, despite the book that has been written on him. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you through those 10 commandments of e-business and how by using them and applying them to your business, you can make your business not slightly more efficient, but substantially more efficient. And if you listen carefully until the end, I have one bonus commandment for you. So let's start. The first one, kit versus suite. In order to run your e-business today, does it make sense to go and buy different pieces of software of different vendors and try to glue it together? Or should you take a suite of applications that has been engineered to fit together and run your business on it? Now, the answer may sound obvious to you because every complicated industry has gone that way. When an airline decides to buy an airplane, it doesn't go and say, oh, wait a minute, I'm going to buy the body from Boeing, I'm going to buy the engines from GE, I'm going to try to buy the wings from Airbus, I'm going to get a couple of NASA scientists to try to glue me that plane together. Now, would you fly in a plane like this? I wouldn't. But in the software industry, this is what happens. The software industry is a very young and immature industry. So conventional wisdom in the software industry tells you that you let your line manager go and pick the best solution for their department, and then you try to go and glue those different components together. And this is a madness. And some companies are trying now to realize that this is a very expensive exercise and that the gluing business is very expensive. And you know, this is a never-ending story because you never have best of breed because none of those different components come out to the market in a synchronized manner. So the gluing business goes on and on and on, and this is how projects last for years and years, and IT budgets get expanded, and people get upset. You know, the alternative is to have one suite of products that are tightly integrated together, engineered to fit together, and run your e-business on it. I have a little...
Imagine the ultimate driving experience. An automobile with the styling of a BMW Z3 Roadster, the power of a Porsche 911, the roomy comfort of a Mercedes 430, and the sophistication of a Jaguar XK8. In short, a car that matches the lifestyle you deserve. This special edition car can be yours. Call right now. Operators are standing by. No instructions included. Some assembly required.
Your new car is in the garage. And here's your free assembly tool.
You can buy best-of-breed software from lots of vendors, no instructions included, and never become any business. Or you could get a complete eBusiness suite from Oracle. The choice is yours. Oracle. Software powers the internet.
Is this the way you buy cars? No, but this is the way you buy software. All right, so I know we don't have the answers to all the different software in every single industry. But what you can do, you can start to apply those principles for your generic business application. And there are a lot of generic business applications out there. Finance, HR, CRM, supply chain, manufacturing. And get this one done and spend maybe more money on the applications that differentiate your business. And in that process, you will see that you'll be saving some money. So the second rule is distributed or centralized. Should you run 100 different servers in 100 different countries managed by 100 different people? Or should you maybe use the power of the network and run your company on a single instance? Let me tell you a story that happened in our company. One day, Larry Ellison called the head of HR and said, I would like to find out how many people work at Oracle. I often talk to analysts, and they ask me the question, and I always have to guess. I don't know exactly how many people work for Oracle. Can you go and find out? And he said, you want to know how many are working in the US? I said, no, globally. I would like to know. We are a global company. I would like to know how many work globally with us. And he said, let me try to find out. Let me try to find out. I mean, this is an IT company. It's like, a doctor being sick, not knowing how to cure himself. And he went out, sent an email to different HR managers, because we used to run our company like this in the past. Every subsidiary had its own system. And after 2-3 weeks, all the information got consolidated, and he went back very proud to Larry and said, Larry, I think we have 45,750 employees in our company. And Larry's a smart guy. He said, was it today? He said, oh, no, this was 3 weeks ago. And you can ask yourself the same question about how much customers did you win today? How much revenue did you make? How much product did you sell? How much cash came into your company? And if it takes 3 to 4 weeks to get this information consolidated, you're going to be in trouble. This is not the way of running an e-business today. The third rule is global versus local. Should you take that distributed complexity and even make it worse by allowing every single subsidiary to choose its own systems and its own processes? Or should you rather go and simplify your business processes, standardize your business processes across the world, and move them to one system? This is what GE Power has done with us. GE Power is a $20 billion division of General Electric. They do all the turbines and the motors. And they have chosen one system and implemented across the world with one set of processes. Rule number 4, customize or configure. Should you allow your user to continue to customize your system to fit the business processes of the past 20 years? Or should you rather have a system that can be easily configured? Another way of putting it is, should you, for instance, invoice your customers in France differently from Germany, differently from the UK, different from the US? Or should you have one way of invoicing your customers and configure just the local VAT or the local language? What we found out within Oracle is the bigger the subsidiary was, the more they used to customize, and the harder it was to get them out of this madness and to move them onto one global system. Some country managers used to sit on their system, didn't want to give it away because they thought that there was no other alternative to run the business. And by doing so, what you find out is that the implementation time goes down dramatically. Instead of implementing a system over 2-3 years, you do that in 6 months. GE has gone live in 6 months by approaching it this way. The fifth rule, complex versus simple. Should you continue to use client-server technology where it is known to be complex to implement, complex to use, complex to configure, or should you use web-based technology in your applications, knowing that anybody can know how to personalize an application this way, like a myyahoo.com? Also, what you find also in best of breed is that every single application has its own customer database and its own way of storing the information in that database. So if you want to automate the business flow, it becomes very complicated because you have to move data out of one application, reformat them, put it in another application, etc., etc. And if you remember what the CEO yesterday of Volvo said to you, one central customer database accessing all the data. This is what it's all about. I have another illustration for you.
Welcome to Chicken Heaven. How can I help you?
I'll have the chicken sandwich. Make that a free-range Rhode Island red chicken, lightly breaded in organic flour, rosemary, and thyme, deep-fried in peanut oil for 4 minutes and 56 seconds at 425 degrees. Put that in a wheat sourdough bun, lightly toasted with mustard, lettuce, and tomato. Oh, and a Coke.
Would you like Heavenly Meal number 1 or Heavenly Meal number 2?
It's never a good idea to complicate something that could be simple. So don't complicate your e-business with software from lots of different vendors. Oracle applications are engineered to work together. It's complete and simple. Oracle, software powers the internet.
Okay, forget the chicken sandwich. I'll just have a Coke. 6 ice cubes, lightly carbonated, 46 pounds per square inch carbon dioxide, and a 12-ounce.
Guy's sick, but believe me, what we see today when companies send their tenders, for a new application, this is what they do. They take their brightest people and spend, I don't know how much time, defining how business processes work in their enterprise for the past 20 years, instead of thinking how to use the power of the internet, simplify business processes, and put them onto a new system. The next one, administration or self-service. You should try to move away from having people entering transactions for you, doing administrative tasks. Try to move your organization to a self-service type of company. An employee who submits his expense report is the most motivated to do it right because he wants to be paid on time. A customer who's placing an order for a spare part will do all the necessary work to fill exactly the right information to make sure that he gets the right product on time. So try to move away from having people administering your business into a self-service type of organization. The seventh one, transaction or intelligence. Now, as you move to self-service, suddenly, your users are freed from entering transaction because customers and suppliers are doing that on your behalf. And you can spend more time in analyzing data and getting intelligence out of those data and taking the right business decisions. Value in a company is not created by entering transaction, but value in a company is created by analyzing and taking the right business decisions. Online or offline? Now, the offline is the notion of you buy a software, you install it locally, you run the project locally, and online is you go and towards an ASP type of model where you host your application within a third party. Now, what is the best in the e-business? It depends. What we have seen up to now is most of those who've gone the ASP route didn't change the economic model of the ASP. So basically what they've done is they've taken the server from being behind your wall and put it behind their wall. And nothing changed to the economic model. So every hosted customer had its own server and its own project, and nothing really changed. Little economies of scale. The right way of doing it is when you have one application that can be shared by many, many customers. And preferably, this application should be hosted by the company who provide the software. Because if there's a problem and there's a patch to be applicable, it can be done instantaneously, and all those customers can go live and can benefit from this new release. The ninth rule, physical or virtual. Now, we have this rule at Oracle where we try web first. Anything that we do, we try to do it, think through it, how can we do it through the web? And if it's really not possible, we do it in a physical world. Now, for instance, when we do a marketing campaign, we no longer send flyers and mail. We just send email. When a customer requires actually some information, product information, we don't print product catalogs anymore. We send him a URL or we send him a PDF. When we do product update, we used to, book a hotel somewhere and invite customers and get maybe 50, 100 customers in a room. Now we do a lot of those things over the web. And we get 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 customers out there. So we reach more customers like this way. So try to think how you can do things in a virtual way first before you do it in a physical way. And the last one is probably the hardest one. Conventional or intuition. And this is where you have to lead. You have to think differently. You have to dare to do things differently. Don't try to copy what things have been done elsewhere. Don't rely on experts. Because when the rules of the game have changed, what you will find out is that those experts are maybe no longer so much experts anymore. Nobody has shown Oracle or Cisco or Sun how to e-business themselves. We went out and tried. We did some mistakes, but never mind. So, I told you I have a bonus command at the end. And if you have not kept anything from my presentation, it doesn't matter, because this is the essence of everything. The 11th one is the essence of the 10 that I presented to you. And here how it goes. You have to be prepared to spend less on IT to have better systems. It may sound weird from an IT guy, right? But let me explain why. The more you spend on IT, the more you fragment your systems, the more you duplicate data, the more it becomes inconsistent and harder for you to manage your business. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Michaca, and thanks to your terrific speed up now, we actually ended up right on time. Unfortunately, since the session time has been spent, I suggest that you use this intermission with a coffee break and grab the speakers and challenge their messages and have some discussion during the break. Once again, thank you all four speakers. Thanks a lot.